Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. Let's quickly do the topic of amendment and repeal of an act. So this is the topic. What is the difference between amendment of a statute or an act passed by the parliament, and what is the repeal of that act or statute? There's a difference between both of these terms. Amendment is a different thing. Repeal is a different thing. Amendment is a correction of an error in an act passed by the parliament or a statute or an enactment. That error can be in any particular provision of that section of that act. It also includes the abrogation or even deletion of a particular section or a provision in an existing act passed by the parliament or even by the state legislature. You see, there is a difference between amendment and repeal of a particular statute or act or enactment. If the amendment is small, you see, very important, if the correction or amendment is small or it deletes or adds only small portions of that particular act or statute, that act or statute is said to be amended. It is said to be amended if the amendment is of small portion of that act. But if the amendment of that act or statute is extensive, that is too large, very big, or most of the provisions of that act are changed or amended, then it is said to be repealed. This is the basic difference. So basically, repeal means abrogation of the whole enactment, whole act. Whole act is repealed. Whole act is abrogated, and there is a reenactment of that act into a new act. A new act is made. Through repeal, the old act is gone and a new act is made. So in repeal, the earlier law or earlier act or earlier statute or even earlier enactment, this is the name of the same, this is same thing. Act, statute, enactment, one and the same thing. So the earlier act or statute or enactment is gone, and instead of it, a new law or statute comes into picture. On the passing of a new law or act, the earlier act or law is presumed to never have been passed. It is zero. Once a new act has been passed, earlier act is presumed to be zero now. It is presumed to be no act. It has never been passed. Now new act comes into the shoes of the old act. You see, there cannot be two acts for the same thing. The later law abrogates the earlier law. This is repeal. So when an act is repealed, when an old act is repealed, all rules made thereunder are automatically or ipso facto repealed. There is no need of those rules. But one thing to be kept in mind is that repeal does not affect anything done under the earlier or repealed act. If anything is done, any rights are acquired through the earlier act by anybody, you cannot disturb those rights. Repeal does not affect any right, privilege, obligation or liability acquired or incurred under the repealed old act or earlier act. That will stay. But from future, from that day onwards, when the act has been repealed, there will be new rights, new liabilities which can be occurred. So whatever has been done through earlier act, that will remain. But once the new act has been passed, the new provisions are there to govern the particular matter. So generally and usually a saving clause is added in the repealing act or a new act. A saving clause is added to protect those already acquired rights under the earlier or repealed act. This is very important. So this was the difference between amendment and repeal. Hope you like this lecture. Thank you very much.